the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Ebusuafo yebe called the Financial and Criminal Division of the Accra High Court. Na Sami Jemfi ehre pa indra at the High Court because of one document released by Onwan Kasa, the member of parliament in the NDC for K2 South, the late husband. That is the name of Honorable Dzifa Gomashie, the late husband, Brigadier General Aago, on a troll letter about Richard Jakpa's conduct in the military. It goes to the heart. Say statement are not more release during normal press conference. Say prosecution of Richard Jakpa and a Dr. Kessel Atofo a political witch hunting. It has been thrown to the dogs. I didn't see kasa. I was Dr. Kessel Atofo MPP for person munyani seat central region and omode obi say false accusations be level against him sending ya omede omonsa ebeka ni seat in the central region until omo even pleaded with central region chiefs so omo betai obi say Dr. Kessel Atofo Senichi na no na letter by Brigadier General Osanso ye former President John Dramani Mahama appointee letter on one kasa Troy about Richard Jakpa a copy more court and son and Babe kind letter and the best source audio evidence the best source details of the letter the best source now lawyers of Richard Jakpa studio sorry and counsel Bamba or more fighting vehemently say omompene emma letter na yen kind of court because it has no correlation between purchases of ambulance. But Honorable Tua Yebua, the Deputy Attorney General, argue say it goes to the character and credibility of Richard Jakpa. Inti ube here say Yebeka and Richard Jakpa previously grapple and make references to the Ghana Armed Forces said or time huno ne jealousy inti no me the pamono from the Ghana Armed Forces because of unknown exceptional talent and abilities. Inti na ye maho kwan judge no away two arguments no or maho kwan Emma Ghana Armed Forces for omo have omusi through the letter by Brigadier General Aago in court. And no ne copy mu say Ghana Armed Forces for passa. Now here call statement by Daily Guide regarding this particular letter. I say in a shocking details about the dismissal of Richard Jakpa, the 10 accused persons in the infamous ambulance trial have started pouring out from court following news of him being dismissed by the Ghana Armed Forces. Per the document submitted to the court, the Ghana Armed Forces took a decisive action by dismissing Officer Jakpa due to one, the inadequate performance. That is one. Two, consistent fraudulent behavior and an overall unsatisfactory conduct during the service with the armed forces. But what is surprising is that this letter is coming from an NDC appointee. In the statement, Obiti said the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Ketiabeka, said a political witch hunting. It has been thrown to the dogs because the member of parliament for K2 South, Dzifa Gomashie, the late husband, Brigadier General Aago, Osanso ye koye appointee of National Lotteries Authorities during the time of former President John Dramani Mahama. Or no trust a letter about Richard Jakpa. And now Johnson Asiedun Kitia and Sami Jemfi and the likes of NDC lawyers so go find a testimony say omo de babe kasa etia that of the Attorney General. Court no de court no AFL. And until after the statement, Sami Jemfi issue one statement to the press after the court proceedings. You could see letter na a PMO in court regarding the dismissal of Richard Jakpa from Ghana's armed forces.
Jakpa admitted to the court today that indeed the contract specifically to use the Big C convert to specifically use the Big C to convert the buses to ambulances had not been approved by Parliament. Further, it was revealed in court that the contract to Big C to convert the buses to ambulances was in 2012, whereas the same Big C had only got its license to convert buses to ambulances in 2015. Meaning from 2012 and 2015, there was a subsisting contract when Big C didn't have the license to perform the contract. Let me just explain this to you viewers a little bit. So as we said, pursuant to the 1992 Constitution, the Big C contract had to go to Parliament, isn't it? It did. Did I say Big C? The ambulance contract had to go to Parliament. The documents that went to Parliament did not have Big C in there. Somehow in 2015, it is suggested that Big C was smuggled into the contract. This has been the subject matter of the conversation between the Attorney General and Richard Jakpa, for which Jakpa says that Attorney General said he should say something. The conversation suggests that Attorney General was telling him that your company was not in the parliamentary approval and you need to admit this in court, because if you do not admit it, you will come out as an untruthful witness and it will be difficult for any clemency to be given to you. This is the conversation Attorney General had with him. That listen, your company was not even in the parliamentary approval. The document that Parliament approved did not have your company. So your company was not approved by Parliament to carry out the work. And you should admit this in court when I speak to you. When they met in Justice Kulendi's house, this was one of the conversations they had. And Attorney General said, but your company was not there. So you have to admit it. If you don't admit it, you will be seen as an untruthful witness. And he said that Attorney General says that I should admit something that will incriminate or to force him. Today, he had to admit it. Jakpa admitted. This is the thing that Attorney General, so you need to admit it, because if you challenge it, you are an untruthful witness because the documents are against you. This is the matter. This is the matter. So today he admitted it. He even admitted, and maybe I shouldn't say that. I'll say that when he gets there. I won't say it when he gets there. The matter is still on trial when he gets there. He admitted that the Big C was not part of the parliamentary approval. So the case is building up slowly. Big C was not part of the parliamentary approval. Big C was smuggled into the contract, or smuggled in quotes, I should say, into the contract. Eventually, the contract was ended. No ambulances were provided. The LC money had already been paid to Big C. Richard Jakpa, as agent for the company that did not deliver the ambulances, earned 700,000 euro of Ghanaian taxpayers' money. Are we happy with that? If Ablakwa is happy with that, if Sami Nsem-Pii is happy with that, if Johnson Asedun is happy with that, I cannot be happy with that. You shouldn't be happy with that. That somebody takes 700 light. In Presec we say illuminatur videbimus lumen. In Latin it means in thy light we shall see light. Darkness can never outshine the light. Illuminatur videbimus lumen. This is what has happened. That is why Sami Nsem-Pii cannot do press conference. Today he was standing there very, very disheartened, trying to manage some press conference. This is why they cannot. The person that they have stood behind is the most ridiculous character as far as the Ghana Armed Forces is concerned. This is the person that the biggest opposition party, the opposition party whose candidate is a former president of Ghana. This is the person that they brought, and the former commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, is a former commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Johnson Asiedu Ketia brings somebody who the Ghana Armed Forces has described as all the words they use for him, and presents him as a paragon of virtue towards 2024 ballot box. Anyway, let's move on. Issues about commission paid to Richard Jakpa. Whereas the agreement stipulated that Richard Jakpa be entitled to 10% of the value paid, he ended up being paid 28%, even though he asserted that the total sum of 28% was as a result of other charges paid. Richard Jakpa, in the circumstances, earned 700,000 euro for zero work done. 700,000 euro of Ghana Revenue Authority's money went into the pocket of Richard Jakpa for what? Zero work done. Next Tuesday, cross-examination will continue on the Richard Jakpa matter. This is going to be beautiful. It looks like a soap opera, doesn't it? That's how it looks. But always remember, viewers, that darkness can never ever shine over light. It cannot. Darkness cannot shine over light. And that's what we have seen. All right. Play me free SHS again. After that, maybe I'll play Pudon. Then I'll go to text messages. And then we have Petroleum Hub coming up. And we have the land issue. Okay, just free SHS. Just free SHS. Play it again.
When today you are hearing Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP going all over the country shouting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS.
Friends, what was in the letter that was written by the Ghana Armed Forces and who signed it? Let's go to that. This is the letter. Army Headquarters, Burma Camp, Accra, 77539 something. 12 September 2007. Reference, Army number. Please, release from service for unsatisfactory conduct. Lieutenant Richard Jakpa. These are the details. The above named officer was commissioned into the Armor Corps as a regular officer on 21st August 1998. All things being equal, the officer should have made the rank of captain on 21st August 2002 and a major on 21st August 2007. He has consistently failed his promotion exams and now lags behind his mates in rank. Also, his service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. Viewers, note the words that were used, and I'll come to the one who signed it. His service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. 2. In addition, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa has incessantly been indebted to various people / institutions during the period. An example was his long indebtedness to Recce Regiment PRI to the tune of $300, which he was unable to pay till authority was sought for the amount to be deducted from his salary. Wow. Throughout his service life, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa of number GH2899 has proved consistently that he belongs to a world incompatible with the decent and gentlemanly composure that the Presidential Commission confers on officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. He is a bad example by all standards, and his continued retention in the service is likely to cause more harm to the service and to himself. Indeed, in May 2004, a special report submitted on him by his commanding officer suggested that the officer had reached his ceiling. 3 years on, his new commanding officer describes his conduct as shameful and regrettable. Paragraph 4. From the foregoing, the continued retention of Lieutenant Jakpa is not in the best interest of the Ghana Armed Forces and indeed himself. It has accordingly been decided that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service forthwith. I am therefore directed to request that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service for inefficiency under Article 15, Item 2A, through continued lack of application of interest, and Item 2C, unsatisfactory conduct of the Armed Forces Regulations, Volume 1 Admin, respectfully submitted. Great. Signed, Brigadier General M.K.G. Ahiaglo, for Chief of Army Staff. Leave it there. Who is Brigadier General Ahiaglo? That's the question. Brigadier General Ahiaglo became the Southern Command Commander when Professor Mills was president. And when John Mahama became president, Brigadier Ahiaglo had retired from the service and he was made the Director General of the Ghana National Lotteries. To all intents and purposes, Brigadier General Ahiaglo, may he rest in peace, was friendly to the National Democratic Congress. To all intents and purposes. And why do I say that? And there's nothing wrong with that. Because Brigadier General Ahiaglo was Southern Command Commander during the Mills era. During the Mahama era, after he had retired from the service, the government of President Mahama found it necessary to keep him within the government sector, and he became a chief executive of the Ghana National Lotteries Authority. Who is Brigadier General Ahiaglo's wife? My very good friend and a woman that I thoroughly admire, Dzifa Gomashie, the member of parliament for Keta or Ketu South. Please check. Dzifa Gomashie is member of parliament. Is it Keta or Ketu South? I'm not sure. Keta. There's no Keta South, though. It's Ketu South or Keta. Yes. This is Dzifa Gomashie, the famous actress. Great woman, fantastic woman. She was Deputy Minister of Tourism. That is NDC Deputy Minister of Tourism. NDC Member of Parliament for Ketu South. That is Dzifa Gomashie. This is Dzifa Gomashie's late husband, General Ahiaglo, who signed a dismissal letter to Richard Jakpa. Are you getting the things, viewers? So all this political witch hunting, and it doesn't seem to hold. The allegations of political witch hunting that has been presented in favor of Richard Jakpa doesn't seem to hold. This is General Ahiaglo who signed your letter. And all of these words inside was seen by General Ahiaglo, and he must have concurred on those words to sign out Richard Jakpa. General Ahiaglo was married to Dzifa Gomashie, who is still a member of parliament for Ketu South for the National Democratic Congress. So Richard Jakpa, the people who took you out of the armed forces are not Kwame Adokufo. He was defense minister. It's not John Ajekum Kufuor. He was president. It is the people you work with who found that you had unsatisfactory conduct. Now, viewers, let's come back to the question. Johnson Asiedu Ketia is a chairman of the National Democratic Congress, a big political party. Johnson Asiedu Ketia had been a member of parliament before. Forget about Samuel Jamefi. He's young. He's like me. We are all young. We make mistakes. Forget about Samuel Jamefi. Johnson Asiedu Ketia is not young. He's a seasoned politician. And he must have some patriotic streak within him because he's been a member of parliament before. Did he ask himself, who is Richard Jakpa? What is his background? What is in the case? What is happening before he conducted that press conference presenting Richard Jakpa as a paragon of virtue? The man that Asiedu Ketia presented as a paragon of virtue, these are the words that the armed forces used for him. He's a bad example by all standards. And his continued retention in the service is likely to cause more harm to the service and to himself. Indeed, in May 2004, a special report submitted on him by the commanding officer suggested that the officer had reached his ceiling. 3 years on, his new commanding officer described his conduct as shameful and regrettable. From the foregoing, the continued retention of Lieutenant Jakpa is not in the best interest of the Ghana Armed Forces, indeed himself. It has accordingly been decided that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service. This is the character of the person that the National Democratic Congress, 6 months to election, presented as a paragon of virtue to Ghanaians, who has conducted a recording of the Attorney General and who is happy that he has conducted a recording of the Attorney General and that he has found something in what the Attorney General in the recording said. The court, led by his lordship, said that he has listened to the tape 10 times. Nowhere did the Attorney General say that you should incriminate anybody. But this was the focus of Johnson Asiedu Ketia's campaign. You may not be a supporter of the National Democratic Congress, but that doesn't matter. It is important that the leaders of Ghana, because of the youth and because of the future, they must have a certain streak of standard. Johnson Asiedu Ketia should not be able to present somebody who an important institution of states like the Ghana Armed Forces has said these things about him. At the minimum, they should have checked or at least interviewed Richard Jakpa. Who are you? How did you get into this contract? What? They should have done that. Maybe they did. Maybe they did not. I don't know. But this is the end of the story. You see how sometimes it's important for patience? When the story broke, everybody was doing KKK. Wait, let us get there. The same said Richard Jakpa has also pocketed 700,000 euro. Ask Sami Jamefi that question. President Mahama has a press conference next week. Journalists, ask him that question. That President Mahama, raise your hand. They'll call you. Kofi Mensah from Oyerepa FM. You come. You say, President Mahama, good evening. Thank you very much. Please. Records show that Richard Jakpa had been released from the armed forces on very bad behavior. Do you support and endorse the press conference carried out by Johnson Asiedu Ketia, the chairman of your party, who is seated next to you, and Samuel Jamefi, the national propaganda secretary of your party, who is also seated there? They carried a press conference on this character and presented him to Ghanaians as a paragon of virtue. Mr. President, do you support that? And then you go and sit down. Those days, that's the questions we used to ask those days. Me, I will not attend the press conference. I'll be listening to it on radio. Anyway, General, I salute. General Ahiaglo, may he rest in peace. Dzifa Gomashie, one of the women that I thoroughly admire from the days at National Theatre. This is General Ahiaglo and his wife. This is General Ahiaglo who signed the Jakpa's letter. This is him. May he rest in eternal peace. This is General Aago, who signed Richard Jakpa's letter. He was the chief executive of the National Lottery Authority. General, those days in John Mohammed's period. Before then, he was the brigade commander, the Southern Command. Very, very strong soldier. He lived all his life at Labadi Villas. I knew him since I was 7 years old. This General Aago, he passed not too long ago.